Welcome back to the Old Barn on Ann Street. Today is the Tuesday edition of Bathroom in the Barn Week. Yesterday we saw some exciting things take place outside. We saw the upgrade of the electrical and the upgrade of the plumbing, two important parts of putting a bathroom in the barn. And one thing we didn't show you though was yesterday while they were doing the plumbing outside, there was another plumber working inside, and he was putting in the sink and the toilet so that we would have a bathroom. This is what they look like. We didn't show you that yesterday because the camera was outside and we couldn't show what was going on inside at the same time. But here's what the washroom looks like, and having a toilet and a sink and a hot water heater is an important part of having a washroom. I mean, you can't have them without it. So we're excited about that. So today the question is, now that we have a toilet and a sink inside the washroom, how are we going to get in there? That's what today's job is all about. Here we go. So today's project is exciting. It's not the biggest project we've had in the whole scope of all the work being done in the barn, but it's exciting because today we're going to take that door behind us and make it into a washroom door. Now this used to be the access to the feed. There were two little feed rooms here with these little hatch doors, like half doors that, top half of a door. And inside it, we found things like these bags, these old Bell Cow wheat bran bags. They were still there. I mean, who knows how many decades those have been in there. And so these were the feed rooms. You would come in here and you'd open this door and you would see that they're still down to the bottom. There's still the bottom half there of the wall, but the door would be open. And so our plumbers have been here and they have done some of the work in the washroom. It's looking pretty good. The beginnings of the washroom, the floor is still pretty rough and the walls still have a lot of work, and the electrical wires are still exposed. But that's work that we're going to work on here in a bit. We're going to put insulation in there, fill the walls, all that kind of a thing. Going to leave the floor the way it is, but it's going to be a rustic barn washroom. But today, it's exciting because we're going to make it so that you can actually walk in here and create this door. So that the process is, I'm going to just cut those pieces off the bottom. I'm going to use my multi-tool, cut them off. I've already started it there. I'm going to finish the cut there, take those out, connect it to the top part, and add a hinge, one of the old hinges in the bottom, and we'll see what happens. This is today. Here we go. So it's in place. I connected the two together. I used an old board on the other side. As you can see right down the middle, it connects both the top and the bottom together, and now the door actually swings as one. It's a single door. Now the only thing is there's no hinge at the bottom. There's a top one and a middle one, which used to be the bottom of the half door. I need to put a hinge at the bottom. And so what I'm going to try to do is take this hinge off of the second or the other door that we're not using. It's become we've tacked it shut. It's actually a permanent part of the wall. So this we're going to see if we can repurpose that hinge and put it over down there. The problem is they're really old screws, flathead, rusty old screws. I'm going to see if I can get those out. We'll see. Here we go. an exciting day when we finished the door to the washroom. That work we did on the door was back in March of this year. So all of a sudden we had a toilet that worked, a sink that worked, and a door we could walk through to get into the washroom. The bathroom in the barn was really starting to come together, and we were pretty excited about that. And speaking of other exciting things, let's see what kinds of things we can see on the walls of the barn for today and what other history of Shelburne we can learn from the walls of the old barn on Ann Street. Here we are in another part of the barn, and you can see literally there are things written all over the walls. You can't quite always read them because the words are smudged or the ink or the pencil is kind of hard to see. But there are words literally all over the place on this barn. But what we want to look at today is what we find right here. It tells us that, let me get out of the way there so you can see. Here we go. Back in May of 1933, that says 10 feet of snow. Now, I don't think that was all at once in one storm, but there was 10 feet of snow all in that year, in that month. And also it talks about right above that in January of 1932, it was very warm outside. It was 84 degrees in the sun, and it was 50 degrees in the shade. Obviously, that was Fahrenheit back in the day. But a slice in the day in the life of Shelburne, and a couple times some history, just some of the weather. Had some exciting and interesting weather. Warm days in January and 10 feet of snow in May. Crazy days. I've often heard people say, if the walls could only talk. Well, in this barn, they actually do. There's so much history written on the walls of the barn. Speaking of walls, tomorrow we're going to start working on the walls in the bathroom in the barn. Here's a clip in the work we're going to do tomorrow. That's just a little taste of what tomorrow's episode of Bathroom in the Barn will hold for us. It's going to be a fun time. I hope you won't miss tomorrow's episode or any of the rest of the week. And by the way, don't forget that this Sunday, November 24th, is Christmas in the Barn, the second annual Christmas pop-up market here in the barn. 20 vendors, a lot of great stuff. You won't want to miss it. And also, don't forget to click on the portrait of the barn if you haven't already. We would love to add you to our subscriber family. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow on the Old Barn on Ann Street.